Okay, please sit. Your eyes closed. Attention within. Sitting straight but not rigidly straight. Straight like Mount Fuji in Japan. Straight like a huge tree in the heart of the Amazon. Straight but naturally straight. And you can feel as if there is something pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So there are a lot of activities, tasks in life that we can learn and memorize exactly how to perform. But we don't really know whether we can, in fact, perform those tasks unless we put them into practice. You could read all the manuals about driving a car. You knew them off by heart. It doesn't mean that you could drive a car. So we may have some ideas about our mind, how to train the mind. But it's only when we try to put them into effect that we really see what's going on. It's going against the stream. It's like if you're flowing along in a river. It's very hard to judge the strength of the current if the river is very wide and you can't see the banks clearly to orient yourself. But you can gauge the strength of the current immediately. If you turn against the stream, you start to swim or paddle upstream. So keeping your mind on one thing, it's an incredible challenge. And it's the equivalent of swimming upstream. But when we go against the habits, the current of thought and emotion, that we are able to identify the various mental factors in the mind, those which are toxic, those which cause harm to the mind, and those which are uplifting and beneficial. In the teaching on the 7 enlightenment factors, first one is mindfulness, second one is this investigation of mental factors. So when you're there and present and looking, you can see for yourself. You can come to understand the meaning of the word kusala and akusala So this morning I was talking about the 5 hindrances, the niwāna or niwarana. There are a number of very vivid similes to express these ideas. So that first hindrance, when the mind is bored with the task of sustaining mindfulness on an object, looks for some distraction, something pleasant, something in the past, something in the future. And the Buddha says it's like being in debt. So when you owe somebody some money, you're in debt to them. It's got a hold on you. You lose your freedom. But when someone has that power over you, they usually extort interest, large interest. So you're not just paying back the original debt, you're paying more through interest. And the more that we become caught up in the sensual world and thoughts about the sensual world, we meet the law of diminishing returns. To say you have to put more and more into something to get the same results. You have to pay back more and more money to pay off the same debt. The point here is to recognize the loss of freedom, integrity, autonomy when the mind is caught up in the sensual world, or thoughts and memories and fantasies about the sensual world. You come back to the breath. Nothing complex, nothing taxing, simply being awake and aware to the whole duration of the in-breath, whole duration of the out-breath. You can use a word like Buddho to help the mind stay with that sensation. Or we can divide the breath into sections, beginning, middle, and ending phase of the inhalation, beginning, middle, and ending phase of the exhalation, and then the short gaps and pauses between inhalation and exhalation, exhalation and inhalation. That gives you 8 things to be mindful of. If you only have 2, the in-breath and the out-breath, it's much more likely that you'll get bored and your mind will wander off than if you have 8 things you're having to constantly re-establish your focus. To be present to, awake to this normal, natural feeling of the breath. When it's not your breathing, the breath is happening by itself. It's a function of the organism. So the second of the mental states which will pull you away from the breath, pull you away from mindfulness, are all the accumulated dislikes and resentments and grievances in the mind, all the things you don't like and you find oppressed by having to live in a world with things you don't like, and they just won't leave you alone, and your mind is just gnawing away at them like a rat gnawing away at a bone with no meat on it. Just can't let it go. That's the second hindrance and the simile that the Buddha chose is that of a fever. So when you're angry and upset and your mind is just full of the things they did, the things they said, what they are, then it's like you're hot, feverish. So it's an abnormal and unpleasant state. So the third hindrance is with sloth, torpor, means like sleepiness, dullness, stiffness of mind, laziness. And the Buddha compared these mental states to a prison. It's like your mind shrinks to the contours of the prison cell. Everything becomes dark and dull and miserable. The fourth hindrance, mental agitation and remorse, regret, guilt. The Buddha compared to being a slave. When you're a slave, you're running around all day, running here, running there, but you're not following any of your own choices. It's all your running to and fro is for the benefit of the slave master. So when your mind is very agitated, running about here and there, it's of no benefit to you at all. You're doing it for someone else's benefit. The slave master, the defilements. Lastly, this uncertainty, unwillingness to commit to anything, hesitation, wavering of mind. This is like someone who's lost in the desert somewhere, and they see all the path, one path going forward, one going back, to the left, to the right, and they don't know which path to take. Maybe they go a few yards up one path and then come back again and not sure, maybe it's wrong. Go up this path. No, don't think so, come back. Never get anywhere. So these mental states are completely normal and afflict our minds throughout the day. It's not that these things just suddenly appear because of meditation. Meditation reveals them so that we can see what's going on in our minds more clearly. And letting go of these negative mental states brings joy into the mind. And the simile is of someone who becomes free from debt, someone who recovers from a fever, someone's released from prison, released from slavery, someone who discovers the correct path out of the desert. So recognize how your mind is not free. Your mind is constricted, and mind is narrow and reduced because of the hindrances. It can't shine forth because of the defilements. So we're learning how to let go of all which oppresses and reduces the human mind by recognizing and letting go, recognizing and letting go. Keep coming back to the meditation object.